Okay, so I went out and got the sheet of MDF. It's it wasn't 8 before, but because of, well, actually, let's get this right. I only really needed half a sheet, but because of the way that they were priced, half a sheet was £7, and a full sheet was like £8, and they cut it for you, I think, 3 times for free. So I bought a whole sheet and got them to cut it in half. So I bought basically buy one get one free on sheets of MDF. So yeah, I've got 2 of them now. Well, I have one just like this. It's exactly the same as this, just over there somewhere. I bought that from the same place. I'm doing some making some gates for my girlfriend's father. So here's some bits left over from that, some bits of wood I'm using on that. So I thought we're going to take a little break from making gates, and I'm going to make a start on cutting up some bits for our laser rifle project. So I brought my table saw out. Let's talk about the table saw for a minute. My table saw is awful. It has to be said. It was really, really cheap. Just to give you an idea of exactly how cheap it was, this Swiss Army knife cost more. It was ridiculously cheap. It's made by one of those really well-known brands. And can you see that? Can we get a bit of focus on that? Oh, let's have a zoom in and out. Energer. Come on, focus. There we go. Energer. Yeah, it's not great. There's certain things I don't like about it. The fact the blade doesn't go up and down is one of them. So it's just fixed blade height. The fence is a little bit ropey. It came with a cross-cut guide that is worse than useless. I don't use it. I mostly just use this for sort of like long rips and just getting materials down to size. And for that, it's absolutely fine. I say it was very, very cheap, but I'll start up in a second. It has to be most of the I mean, it's just pressed and folded steel. There's not a lot to it. There's a bit of an extraction thing there. I've had this for probably about 2 years now. I've done nothing to it. I've literally done nothing. I haven't even cleaned it really. The blade is still the original Energer blade that came with it. But I mean, I'll start it out for you. You can hear. The motor's pretty quiet. It actually is really well balanced. Doesn't vibrate a whole lot at all. It did used to have a riving knife attachment, but the riving knife was just a piece of really crap steel, and it got bent because it held this whole mechanism on top that was meant to be a blade guard that I basically just stopped using. So now I just have to be very careful with it. But so I don't do anything too complicated with it. I just sort of set the fence and rip things down, then put it away. And yeah, for the money, I think it was this. I'm not joking. This thing was probably, I think, $29.99 a couple of years ago, and you get what you pay for. But as long as you keep an eye on, you know, make sure your fence is nice and parallel to your blade, and it moves between 45 degrees and that. But I wouldn't trust it for doing miters and stuff. But for ripping stuff down, it's absolutely fine. So I'm going to take my sheet, and I'm going to rip it down. But I think, if I remember rightly, I have to look at the plans. I think it was only like a few mil wide, the actual pieces I'm going to do. But this is obviously 8 feet long, so what I'll probably do is I'll rip it down to the wider diameter first, and then I'll cut. I'll cross cut it with a handsaw to the 2 pieces I need, and then I'll take the excess and rip them down to the narrower size, and then I'll get the router out and glue it all together. what is this bit? This is the main body, the bottom section here. This is actually the bit I'm going to be routing into. So let's have a quick check. We're looking for 58mm wide. What we got there? 55, 56, so 58mm there, and 58mm there. All I'm doing is I'm checking that this is sort of parallel, and the areas where it's not will be the area that I'm going to offcut and then put through to sort of narrow it down. About 57 here, about 57 here. So somewhere in the middle, I'd say. Somewhere about here, and then I'll put this through and rip this down and make that into our narrower piece. It's got to be 51mm, so that should narrow it all down. We should get that out of it. So this is a little bit of excess material we've got now. Obviously we've still got to cut out the stock shape. I'm just wondering how I'm going to do that. What I might do, well, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to glue down the plan onto this sheet with a bit of spray adhesive. Cut that on the fret saw. I might take a trip to the London Hackspace to use their fret saw there, because a fret saw gives a nice clean edge and we shouldn't have to do too much finishing. Okay, so the main body section I didn't actually put any measurements onto when I was populating this. I'm going to have to just have a quick run to that at the moment. 490. Did I mention that in a previous thing? I did. So 490, I need 2 pieces of that of 490. So what's that? Oh gosh. Folding up plans is just like folding up a map. There we go, see? Fold that up. Easy. Got my Duke of Edinburgh, don't you know? I'm good at folding maps. 490, 4 pieces of 490. So let's have a quick look. The pencil's gone. Oh no, alright. Apologies, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go get a pencil. I have returned and I have a pencil now. I'm going to quick sharpen up. Right, where was I? 490. So we know this is the wider end. 490. From there. 409. Yeah, we'll get that out of that. So let's give this a cut. I'm going to use my combination square to mark that up with. Don't know if you can see this, I'm probably off camera. Yeah, not quite. It's quite a warm day today here in sunny London, and someone nearby is having a barbecue, and the smell of cooking meat is getting a little bit distracting at the moment. So, right, I'm going to use my high quality saw to cut this down. So there we have it. Tell you what, about one thing about you find out about the laser rifle. This is actually something I had before. It's a lot smaller than you think it is. It looks in the game. This is the problem I had before. When I did the previous one, the scale was a bit out. It was actually a bit too big. So let's have a look how it compares on the sheet. There we go. It's a little bit longer on the ends. I'll probably cut it about 5mm longer, but I know that now, so I can just. That gives me a little bit of excess to sort of cut off. So now I'm going to rip the other bit down to the narrower side, and then I'm going to get the router out. And I'll see if I can get everything cut today. Let's see if I can get that. It'd be really nice if I can get that shape out today of the stock, because I'll be leaps and bounds, I'll be ahead of myself then. That'd be great.